So here's the deal. We all have whips. We all have UFOs, not that kind of UFO, the kind that are unfinished objects. They're shoved into closets, they're hiding under your beds, or they're cluttering up your craft room storage. These projects may be out of sight, but they aren't out of mind, and they occupy precious mental space. And if you're feeling that same overwhelm like I was, there's never been a better time to get control and finish those projects once and for all. And if you're one of those lucky people who feel completely unbothered by a big old pile of whips, please tell us your secrets. I have a free resource for those of you who do feel overwhelmed right now, and it's my workbook, Honey, Get Control of Your Whips. In it, you're going to find my 7-step process for getting organized, putting a plan in place, and finally finishing all of those unfinished projects. You'll find a link to it in the description box below. There you're going to find a really pretty, colorful version for those of you who want to use it digitally, but I've also got a pared down version for those of you who want to print it out and you don't want to use up all that ink. Because why does printer ink have to be so expensive? We're going to go through the workbook together and I'll show you how to crush your crochet goals and take those whips and turn them into FOs, or finished objects. Then at the end of the video, I'm going to share the 5 new things that I'm doing that aren't included in the workbook. These are tips that I've recently learned, and they are making finishing those projects so much more fun. But first, we have to start with the hard stuff. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is to count up all of our whips. And I know for some of you, this is going to be a process that you're not going to enjoy very much, because I want you to find all of your whips. I mean all of them. I mean the ones hiding under your bed, the one you've got stuffed down in your closet that you're pretending isn't there anymore. All of them. And if you're using the Honey Get Control of Your Whips, you're going to find a section in the worksheet to be able to list them all out. But you could also use the notes phone on your app or just jot them down on a piece of paper. Documenting all of your whips is a powerful step, and it's going to reveal one of 2 things to you. You're either going to, number 1, realize that you don't have as many whips as you thought you did. Or number 2, you're going to feel completely overwhelmed and wonder, how in the world am I ever going to get these done? But no matter which situation you find yourself in, trust the process and let's move on to step number 2. In the workbook, this step is actually listed as number 3, but I think it works better as number 2. And that's to look at each one of your whips and decide if it sparks joy. And if you remember, that term sparks joy came from Marie Kondo, back the art of tidying up, or the Japanese art of tidying up. I cannot remember what the name of that show in that book was, but she really developed this system of looking at each item and deciding if it sparks joy, you keep it, and if it doesn't and it serves no purpose, then it's okay to get rid of it. Be brutally honest with yourself. Does this project bring you joy and you are excited thinking about working on it again, or is this a project that is pure drudgery and you never want to see it again? And if you do have some of those projects, that's okay. I've got some suggestions for what you can do with them. The first thing you could do would be to just frog the entire project, rip it all the way out, and wind the yarn up so that it can be reused. From there, you could put it back in your stash. You could try to sell it on Facebook Marketplace, or if you're having a garage sale, maybe you could organize a trade with a crafty friend. You could also donate the yarn to a local charity or to someone who's just starting with crochet. Or you could decide not to frog the entire project and find someone who would love to finish that project for you or to keep for themselves. This could be an elderly neighbor or just someone who loves doing those type of projects and they really don't want to get started, but they love to finish them. You could also contact a local yarn shop to see if they would take the donation of your yarn and maybe they use them for different projects in the community. Now that you've decided which projects you're going to finish, this is the perfect time to get everything organized. For each project, gather up all of the supplies that you're going to need to finish them and place them in a little pile. You're going to want to gather up all of the main materials like the yarn and the hooks that you're going to use, the pattern, any notions like embroidery floss or buttons or zippers or anything else that you're going to need to finish that project, and then put it in its own little bag or in a little box. This could be as simple as a grocery bag, or you could put it in a fancy project bag if you have that. If you're feeling really good about your whip situation right now and you're on the hunt for something new, let me introduce you to Hooks and Needles. Hooks and Needles is a curated box of either crochet, knitting, or amigurumi supplies delivered straight to your front door, hassle-free. Each box contains short and fun projects for all different skill levels and take less than 30 days to finish. They also include additional craft supplies like hooks, needles, stitch markers, and more. The way it works is that you choose a crochet, knitting, or amigurumi box and get a full DIY project delivered to your doorstep every month. When you subscribe, you will get your first box within 2 to 6 days. After that, the boxes will be shipped on the 7th of each month, and you can cancel at any time, no strings attached. I received all 3 boxes and I am head over heels in love with this yarn. The crochet box included 3 balls of this gorgeous merino tweed. I wish you could reach through the screen and feel this. It is so soft. The knitting box includes 3 balls of 100% Italian merino in 3 different colors that are perfect for fall. And what's amazing is that these wools aren't scratchy at all. They are so soft and squishy. Finally, the amigurumi box comes with everything that you need to crochet this adorable little bear. It includes 5 mini skeins of their Hello Cotton, which is a very soft 100% cotton yarn. You'll even find the hook, the stuffing, the safety eyes, the embroidery floss, and an embroidery needle. It includes everything. But what's even better is that you can get 20% off your first box by using the code EliseRoseCrochet20. Thank you so much to Hooks and Needles for sponsoring today's video. The next step is to make sure that you have all of the supplies that you need to finish this project. Are you going to need to order any more yarn? Do you have the correct hook size? Anything that you specifically need to be able to finish this project, now is the time to get all of that ready. And that way you don't have any excuses. You've only got the projects that you are excited to work on, but now it's time to prioritize which projects need to be finished first. Do any of those remaining whips have due dates or deadlines? Are any of them gifts for birthdays or holidays for a specific date? Or are you selling these at a market and they have to be done by a certain time frame? And this is when you're going to put all of those dates down into your workbook. Now that you know which projects need to be done by a certain date, let's look at a second metric. How much time do you need to complete each project? Don't get super hung up on the exact time, just kind of guesstimate how long do you think it would take you to finish that particular whip. Now we're going to take all of that information with our due dates and the time remaining to finish those projects, and we're going to list in order which project we're going to work on first. One of the tips that I learned while working through my own whip pile last year was that if I had a quick win, something that could be finished within a day or 2, I put that at the top of my list. And the reason for that is because once I could complete something, it just gave me so much motivation and I felt inspired to continue and move on to the next project. There is proven scientific research that if you can check items off your list that you have finished, it actually gives you a rush of endorphins, and who doesn't need more endorphins? Then use your deadlines and time left to complete to prioritize which projects should go next on your list. This is the exact process that I used when I was overwhelmed with my whips back in 2023, and I cannot tell you how much better it made me feel getting some of these projects done, especially one that was incredibly daunting, and it was a knitted project, not a crochet one, but it was my Norwegian kofta, which is also a cardigan. I felt completely overwhelmed by it, but I just took it one bite at a time. Just like how do you eat an elephant? You do it one bite at a time. And that really is the best way to work through these projects. But I also found that there are little ways to trick your brain into working on something that maybe you're not super excited about, because we don't really need a lot of motivation if we are super stoked. We are just so excited to work on a project. But there are times when we have those projects that we do want to finish, but maybe we're not finding them as exciting as we once did. But these are the 5 fun little tricks that I use regularly to help me get stuff done. The first fun tip to trick your brain into doing something that you really don't want to do is to gamify your whip list. And you may be wondering, what do I mean by that? And this is the definition of gamification from the Merriam-Webster dictionary. The process of adding games or game-like elements to something such as a task so as to encourage participation. And I've personally found that if I gamify something, I will get it done. For example, I have a 518-day streak on Duolingo learning Spanish. Having streaks is one of the most powerful ways that I have found to motivate myself. If I have a streak, I will keep doing it day after day after day. And I have found this brand new app that is absolutely the most fun thing, and it's called Habit Rabbit. It's completely free and you can track any habit that you want. And by doing your daily habits, you earn carrots so that you can feed to your little rabbit. It also will begin to clean up his little room and make it more colorful. And it's just so much fun. It's got this cute little background music going on. If you can combine something like productivity and a streak with adorableness, I'm all in. I think this is genius. Anytime that you can make something that you're not really excited about doing and making it fun, this is a fantastic strategy for completing those tasks. Another tip that I discovered in 2023 was to add a 30-minute time of crochet in the mornings. This is when I saw my productivity explode last year, and I don't think I would have been able to work down my WIP list if I hadn't incorporated that. I normally crochet in the evenings, and I was just finding that I wasn't getting as much done, but when I added just 30 minutes in the morning, my productivity went through the roof. And I think it was because there is scientific research that shows that you are more clear in the morning, and I definitely found that for myself. I don't know how, but I could complete so much more in a 30-minute morning session than I could in an hour-long session at night. And this is something that I have gotten away from recently. I haven't been crocheting in the mornings, and this may be why I am feeling a little stressed about my WIP list right now and all of the projects that I haven't even started, because I'm still working on ones that should have been finished a long time ago. There's something really special about that morning silence and doing crochet at the beginning of your day, and I am definitely going to go back to doing that. I don't know what it is about a timer, but it is like magic for me. One that I've been using for quite some time now is called Focus Keeper, and it's a free app that's based on the Pomodoro method. This is a time management system that involves switching between focused work and short breaks, and for whatever reason, this works like a charm. But I recently found another new app that is absolutely adorable. It's from the same people who created the Habit Rabbit, and it's called the Study Bunny. It's basically just a timer system, but you can earn carrots to feed your little bunny. There's also little background music to choose from, or you could just do the clock ticking down, whichever one makes you feel more motivated and kind of gets you into that zone. The fourth fun tip is to keep a crochet journal, and this is one that I received from Twice Sheared Sheep, and I'm going to be talking about it more in an upcoming video. But I think that by keeping a record of all of the projects that you've finished is so motivating. This one has space to put all of the information about your project in, like when you finished it, what yarn you used, but there are also little pockets to be able to put your yarn label and a swatch that you made. It is just so much fun, and I think for me especially, being able to look back and see all of the projects that I finished, that is a huge motivator, and it's so much fun. The fifth fun tip is to reward yourself. Rewarding yourself for completing a crochet project can be a powerful motivator. Maybe you want to treat yourself to a new skein of yarn, or you've had your eye on a new fancy hook that you can gift to yourself when you complete that project. Find that little carrot that's going to keep you excited to finish that project even when your motivation is low. Knowing that there's a reward at the end can give you that extra little push to finish that WIP. I know that some of you are feeling a little bit overwhelmed at this point, but I promise that with a little organization and some consistency, you can get them done. There's no need to feel overwhelmed, you just need a plan. And make sure to get your free copy of the workbook, Honey, Get Control of Your WIPs. You'll find it in the description box below. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Stay safe and happy stitching.